Hi everybody, Todd here, all things archery and shooting. Just came from outside from shooting this bow, and I gotta say I was somewhat, I like the bow. It's a good shooting bow. So overall, the bow shot well. There's a couple things on the bow that I've got when we discuss in this part of the recap of the videos, part 1 and part 2. First, the bow is very similar to a Black Hunter bow, except I've got the Black Hunter bow is a little bit shorter riser. This riser on this bow is 16 inches. The riser on the Black Hunter bow is 15 inches, and that extra inch comes in this handle right here. This handle is 1 inch larger. I thought this was a medium grip bow, kind of like the Black Hunter, but when you compare this to the Black Hunter bow, and you put the two together, this is a much higher grip, more of like an old school longbow grip. It's a very high grip on this bow. I'm not used to shooting a high grip bow. I like a medium grip bow. I did have a video comparing this bow velocity wise, which we'll talk about when we get to my speed rating, on two other similar bows that I have in my arsenal. One is a old Stygian one piece 56 inch recurve, 50 pounds at 20 inches. At my draw weight, it's 53 pounds. And then the Black Hunter Recurve, which is 58 inches, same exact bow, AMO bow size, 50 pounds at 20 inches. I shot both of those bows side by side with this one. I want to apologize up front. I don't have the video for that because my new camera that I spent $600 for just seems doesn't like the florid heat. The reason I bought a new camera is because my older camera kept crapping out on me when it got too hot outside. This camera was supposed to have been a better camera. It's a digital SLR camera by Nikon. It's a very good brand. And I guess the heat got to it too, because it shut down part of my review outside when I was comparing the Black Hunter bow, the old Stygian bow, and this bow side by side. The Black Hunter bow, I'll tell you what I come up with. The Black Hunter bow is you put it on this bow here. It's a little bit shorter. The limb tips come to about right here in the nock. I think that's because this is a longer riser. The limbs are the same length though, so the same length. The bow is 58 inches AMO. And when I compare with the Stygian, the Stygian, of course, is a little bit shorter. All right. Overall, we're going to compare this bow based on my 6 criteria that I do all my bows on. These are based on 6 different values that I compare each bow to keep it the same. And they're graded from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, with a possible score of 60. All right, first thing we're going to talk about is the quality, fit, and finish of the bow, okay? The quality, fit, and finish of the bow, I want to say, is I find it quite good, all right? I love the finish of the bow. It's a matte finish. I got a matte on it. It's not bright, it's not shiny, great for the woods. I love the reddish orange and gray hues in the riser, all right? I also love that it has brass fittings on it, including brass inserts where the fittings screw into, which you don't really see that normally. You only see that only on more expensive bows, not on an $85 bow, all right? And it's a really nice looking bow, all right? The limbs on it, at first I didn't like these square limbs, but these square limbs, they're starting to grow on me. I kind of do like them. They are 2 cores of bamboo in them, and they have probably the best reinforced tips I've seen on any recurve or longbow that I've reviewed so far. These tips are actually gorgeous. They really are. Bow's got a nice, cool sweeping recurve to it. All right. The sight window's smaller than, say, the Black Hunter or my old Stygian recurve. This sight window is just under 3 inches. The Black Hunter is almost 4 inches, and my old Stygian recurve is about 3.5. So the sight window's a little bit smaller. Did it affect it for me? I really couldn't see any difference on it. Also, the shelf is more of a flat shelf. It's not a radius shelf like the Black Hunter. I prefer a more radius shelf. This is a very more flat shelf, but it still worked quite well. The string is a D97 Fast Flight string. It has a 6-inch serving on it, endless loop, and I don't see any issues with cracking or separation or anything. All right, so that's good there. One thing about the bow that I'm concerned about, though, is, as I said in my video, if you're listening out there when I was shooting, the bows seem to be getting lighter in draw weight. I've never had a bow actually get lighter in draw weight for me. Okay, excuse me, I take a slip of my beer right now. Nothing tastes better than a cold beer on a hot day. By the way, those of you wondering, I drink Bud Light. So if you want to be good buddies of mine, send me a case of Bud Light. Anyway, What I don't like about the bow, which I thought was which I've never had before, and I've tested a lot of bows, you see, but I've never had a bow actually lose weight. This bow kept losing weight. I just felt like the bow was getting light. I thought something was in my head. And when I got back into here, I tested the bow with my draw gauge, okay, at my draw length of 29.5 inches. And remember in the first video when doing the setup and unboxing, the bow came in at 57 pounds when I first strung it up. And on my tillering machine, the bow came in at 53 pounds at 28 inches. I retested the bow just now, come back from outside, and this bow is coming in now at just under 53 pounds on this scale. And on the tillering machine, it's 49.85 pounds on my digital scale at 28 inches. So somewhere it's lost 3 pounds somewhere. Not sure where it went, but it's lost 3 pounds. I don't understand that. I can't explain it. Never had it before, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that and see if that keeps doing that, okay? So on the quality, fit, and finish, because of that, I'm going to have to give this bow a 7, okay? Just because of the poundage weight, it's losing poundage weight, and a couple other minor things like on the finish here, as you can see, this is a laminated bow. It's basically a bunch of small layers of wood shaved, glued together and compressed. And what they did is they used red and gray, glued them all together, put it on CNC machine and cut it out, and then they did hand finishing and sanding. What they did is they sanded off all the red on the top part. I mean, it's not bad. I think it has a little character to the bow. I kind of like it, but it should be more like this down here. So they should have done something. They should have sanded that down a little bit more, and they should have blended like this one did. Also, on this limb here, it sits a little bit, and you got a little bit of a lip here between the riser and the limb. On this one, you got a little bit of a lip, but the opposite way. So it's not really, it should have been sanded flush with it, okay? Like on the Black Hunter, the bows are much better quality finish on these, okay? There are no glue marks on the bow. There are no sanding, swirling like that. In the limbs, there's no glue marks on off the limbs and no sanding swirls on the limbs. So because of those things, because of the losing of weight, okay, and because they didn't quite, they could have put a little more time into finishing this riser to actually match the limbs and not off the limbs like it is now. That's why I rate this at about a 7, okay? All right, next is going to be the specification of the bow. Okay, now the specification of the bow came from Amazon. On Amazon's ad, it says it's a 58-inch AMO, which is what it is. It's a 50-pound bow at 28 inches, which it is not, okay? So it doesn't match that criteria at all right? Also on Top Archery, they listed as a 58-inch bow, AMO, but they listed as a 50-pound at 28 inches as well also. They also say that on Amazon, if you click that little thing on their information, like the downloaded PDF about it, it says it should be a 7 1/4 brace height. Top Archery says it should be between 7 1/4 and 8-inch brace height. I've got it about 7.5 inches. Okay, so the bow, and when I first got the bows, you saw the bow pulled 53 pounds at 28 inches, which is way over what the specifications were. All right. Also, it says it comes with a leather bowstring, which the bowstring is not leather. It's like a leatherette, like a fake leather, so it's not true leather, so that's not correct either. It does come with a, it says it comes with a hair rest. This actually came with 2 rests. It came with this rest already pre-cut and the hair rest that you saw in the first video. So overall, the specifications of the bow don't quite meet what the paperwork says when you order it. So because of that, we're going to give it a 7 as well too, okay, on specifications, okay? All right. Now let's talk about the speed of the bow. The speed of the bow, it's not the fastest, but it's not the slowest either, okay? Let me explain. I compared this bow to 2 other bows that I have in my inventory. One is a Black Hunter 58-inch recurve, 50 pounds at 28 inches. At my draw weight, it's pulling about just under 54 pounds at 29.5 inches. If you set the Black Hunter on top of this bow, it's a little bit shorter because this riser is longer on this bow. The limbs are the same size as the Black Hunter limbs. Now, they're not interchangeable though. Okay? I'm sorry I had that on video, but again, my camera crapped out on me, my new camera, and from the heat, so I got to watch that in the future. All right. I also have an Old Mountain Stygian Recurve, which is 56 inches. Okay, which I touched against this Speedwise. This bow we tested with 3 different weights. Okay, and I tested the Black Hunter with the 3 different weights, and I tested the Old Mountain Stygian with the same 3 different weights. And I wish I had that video coverage to show you, but my camera crapped out. I didn't realize it. But I'll try to explain it best I can. Okay, on the chronograph part of part 2, you saw with this bow shot at 12 grains per pound of draw weight. It averaged about 158 feet per second, roughly. There'll be a title card listed in here as all the speeds of the bow. And remember, on the bow, I throw out the 5 shot, throw out the highest, I throw out the lowest, and I average the 3 left. So there'll be a title card in this video that I have all the exact. So I'm just trying to remember myself. I'm off of 1 or 2 feet a second. Please let me know. The last time I talked about this, and someone sent me, "Well, you said it was this, and actually your card said which is it?" Well, sorry, I don't got a photographic memory. That's why I put the title cards in. It's going to be, this bow, I think, is going to average about 158 feet per second. But I haven't edited this video yet, so I don't know the exact. But it's going to be around 158 or close to it. But again, it'll be in the title card. So if I'm off a little bit here, don't chastise me, please. Okay, that's a 700 grain arrow. That's 12 grains per pound of draw weight, average about 158 feet per second. The same bow with my Old Mountain Stygian Recurve, same exact arrow, okay? That arrow is moving about 161 feet per second, so about 3 feet a second faster than this bow. The Black Hunter bow with that same 700 grain arrow was coming out of this bow at about 164 feet per second, so with the same arrow. So it's about 7-8 feet a second faster with a 700 grain arrow compared to this bow, all right? Now let's talk about the 10 grains per pound of draw weight. That was a 570 grain arrow that I shot through this bow. That came into an average about 172 feet per second over the chronograph. And I shot the Old Mountain Stygian Recurve, and it came in at 174 feet per second. And then I shot the Old Mountain, that was remember, 10 grains per pound of draw weight. So the Old Mountain Stygian Recurve is about 4 feet a second faster. Then I shot the 700 grain arrow out of the Old Mountain Stygian Recurve, and that came in at about 160 feet per second, okay? So a little bit, about 2 feet a second faster than this bow. Not a lot, but a little bit, okay? All right, again, there's a video on that Old Mountain Stygian Recurve you can see on my channel. Let's look for it. Now the 8 grains per pound of draw weight, okay, which is a 447 grain arrow shot out. This bow averaged about 185 feet per second. This is where the difference is wildly different, okay? Old Mountain Stygian Recurve shooting that same arrow came in at 188 feet per second, 3 feet a second faster. Now the Black Hunter Recurve bow with that 447 grain arrow was putting out 192 feet per second for a 447 grain arrow. So it's quite a bit faster. So on average, it's between 5 and 7 feet a second faster on the Black Hunter than this bow is, and the Old Mountain Stygian is about 3 to 4 feet a second faster. So that's pretty close. We're talking minuscule numbers here, but the bow is not as fast as the other two. So for speed wise, I'm going to say the bow is fast, but it's not the fastest bow. It's not the slowest either. Okay. So the speed of the bow, we're going to give it, I'm going to give it a 7 as well too, okay? Now let's talk about the shootability of the bow. This is where I'm kind of torn between, because originally I thought this bow was a medium grip bow. It's not. It's a very high grip bow. I'm not used to a high grip bow. And mostly because the handle section where your hand actually fits is much longer on this bow than, say, the Black Hunter or my Old Mountain Stygian, okay? Also, the sight window on this bow is a little bit smaller than the Black Hunter or the Old Mountain. This sight window is just under 3 inches. To give you an example, the Old Mountain Stygian Recurve is about 3.5, and the Black Hunter is just under 4 inches. So it's a much larger sight window on both those bows. So you have a more clear sight picture. And I shoot both eyes open, kind of a snap shooting technique. So a longer sight window for me is much better. All right. As for the bow, it didn't stack at all. It shot smooth, okay? I didn't have any hand shock, all right? The bow did start losing some weight, which we talked about briefly, but and the bow was losing weight, and I was kind of concerned about that. So again, I tested that once I came in, And the bow has lost, according to both of my scales. This scale here is the hand scale I did, and it's coming in at 53 pounds at my draw length. And if you put this bow on my tillering tree at 28 inches, it's coming in at 49.8 pounds. So remember, originally it was 53 pounds on the tillering machine and 57 pounds with my handheld bow scale at my draw length. So the bow did lose some weight. Where it went, I don't know. I've never had a bow do that. These are bamboo core limbs, so I don't know if it's a bad set of limbs, bad shot of bamboo, what the case may be. But it did start losing some speed, so we're going to keep a look on that. And it doesn't quite keep up with the other bows. I mean, shootability, it shoots very well. I mean, I don't have any issue with the way it's shot. I mean, it's smooth shooting. There's no stacking. There's no hand vibration. I just got a concern about that. The weight of the bow keeps dropping and dropping, which of course is going to change your impact point of your arrow. So I'm not sure how far it's going to drop. We'll have to keep an eye on it and see what happens. All right, so for shootability, I'm going to have to give it a 6 just because of that way, the way the weight was dropping and the smaller sight window on it and the higher grip, which I don't like. Okay. Now let's talk about the quietness of the bow. Now the bow I feel was very quiet for most other bows, on par with most of my better bows. I mean, without any string sound, you really didn't hear any popping or any thwang. You hear a little slight thump, thump. That's pretty much all you heard, which is, with a set of string sounders, I think it'll be a lot quieter with a set of string sounders on this bow. So, for quietness, I mean, I'm going to give it a good rating. For quiet, I'd say an 8. And I guarantee you put string sounders on, it'll be really super quiet. And then if you put your your felt and your limb string here and your limb, where your limb curves at, it'll probably be more quiet. Because that's where I was hearing most of the sound come from, the string slapping this recurve of this limb here. Once you put some string silencers on and you put that felt in there, I think it'll quiet it right down to almost nothing because the bow is really quiet. It has a lot to do with that big rubber thing they put between the limbs and the wood riser. That rubber really keeps it quiet and keeps that vibration down quite a bit. So we're going to say for quiet, an 8. Value of the bow is probably the value of the bow. Value of the bow, it's $85 shipped, guys. Come on, 80. I mean, I don't know how they build bows for $85 and ship them here to the States. I mean, if I was to ship something to China, it cost me $80 alone, not including building the thing. So I don't know how them Chinese guys are doing it. Maybe they're paying them 3 cents an hour. I don't know. But $85, this is an extremely good value. The only bow I think is better value than this bow is the Cano Cane bow I reviewed some time back. That was $60. And that bow is a remarkable for $60. A little bit loud, but the speed-wise and performance of that bow is bar none, okay? How would I rate this bow? I mean, for value, I mean, it is, like I said, the second most value conscious bow you get. You're getting good value for your money with this bow, no doubt about it. Okay, so $85. I spend more than that on a beer night when I'm drinking with my buddies. Okay, so for $85, you're getting a good quality bow that shoots quite well. So it values very well. So I'm gonna give it a 9 on value. Okay, 21. 27, 35, 44. Okay, after going through all my 6 points here, this bow averages 44 out of 60. About the last 10 bows that I've done that I've started doing this review on, this is the 6th best scoring bow. So it's right about in the middle, okay? All right. Okay. Now my final thoughts on this bow. Final thoughts on this bow is, I mean, I'm going to keep this bow because I like it. And I think I'm going to shoot it some more and get used to it. I don't like the high grip of the bow. All right, but I am going to try to get used to the high grips. I think if I get used to the high grip, I'll shoot a lot better with this bow. I'm also going to add some string silencers to it just to keep it quiet. I may take it out and hunt with it a little bit this year, see how it does. But the performance of the bow it's on par with most of my bows. Again, the Black Hunter outperforms it, and my Old Mountain Stygian outperforms it, but not by much. Okay, the bows, I mean, for the money and the value, it's a really good bow. It shoots good. It's quiet. I mean, I'd recommend this bow for any beginner just getting into archery. I mean, even an intermediate guy wants something to throw around the back of their pickup truck or take out in the woods and not worry about banging it up or hurting it. Okay. The bow is, I mean, overall, you can't beat the quality of the bow. I mean, for the money and the way the bow shoots, I do like the bow, and I can recommend it, okay? All right, I want to thank you guys for watching. My channel is growing. Thank you again. Also, check out my Patreon channel. Please do. I can use your support over there. All the money goes to that Patreon channel. I use to buy this equipment so I can test it out for you guys, because these bows do get expensive over time. Also, Patreon channel, there's special perks there that you don't have on my YouTube channel. I have bow giveaways there. I got equipment giveaways there. I'm also going to have hunting trips I'm going to be giving away on that channel. So, in order to qualify for all those drawings, all you got to do is be a member. And you can be a member any one of the 3 levels. And I think the lowest level is like $5 a month. Okay, and next highest level is like $10 a month. So it's not a lot of money, but that little bit of money with my subscribers help me purchase bows and equipment to test for you guys. And also, you guys want something you want me to test out for you or try out for you, send me a comment. Let me know, hey Todd, try this out. If I can find it, I'll gladly get it for you and test it out for you. Okay. This bow was brought to my attention by one of my subscribers. He said, hey, check out the top archery bow. It's kind of like the Black Hunter. I think you'll like it. It's cheap. So big shout out to Ben, who knew who I am, who's in my comment. If you're watching this, thanks, Ben. I took your advice and I went and got one of these, and I do like the bow. So I do read your comments. I do answer your comments, so be sure to leave them for me. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. If you like this video, please click that like button, and also please share with your friends and your buddies, okay? Click that bell icon next to that like button, that way you can notify the upcoming videos I have. I got another cool video coming out, which is going to be a vintage bow video on a bear stag hunter. It's basically a poor man's grizzly bow, bear grizzly bow. We're going to do a complete review on it. It's built in 1973, so that'll be the next video coming out, so be sure to look for that, okay? And as always, I want to thank you guys for your support. Thank you for watching. Until next time, ciao.